Greetings everyone and happy Monday. My name is Jonathan Bailey and I'm from the site Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. And today I quickly wanted to address one of the thornier questions I get asked a lot on plagiarism matters. And this is usually a question I get from teachers, from assistant principals, administrators at various schools. And the question basically is, are plagiarism detection services worth the cost? And by plagiarism detection services, I'm talking about the academic-oriented ones, like Turnitin, My Dropbox, and a few others out there. But basically, the reason these questions are being asked to me so often these days is because these services tend to be a little bit expensive. They tend to actually, especially for a large institutions, can be processing a lot of papers. They can be somewhat expensive, and schools are in a bit of a crunch right now. Between cutbacks at the government level, a weak economy, and other problems, there's a lot of issues that schools are faced with right now. And so they're looking for ways to cut costs. And the question is basically, does it make sense to continue to use these services at a time when some schools are having to cut back on teachers and other fundamental needs? And I hate to answer a question with a question. I'm absolutely loath to do that, but this is one of those times where I usually have to look at these schools and go, well, how are you using the software, and how are you planning on using it? And the reason I do that is because if you're using these services as a way to go, no, boo, gotcha, you're a plagiarist, haha, you're going to get punished, you're probably wasting a good portion of your money. I hate to say it, but it's true. Because even in schools where they are using this, in my experience and talking with teachers, most cases of plagiarism are still initially caught, at least, through good old-fashioned human intuition. Basically, someone noticed the paper doesn't sound right, sounds too well written, not quite on topic, doesn't flow correctly. Something's wrong with the paper, so they look deeper. So in most cases, human intuition is still your best friend. Now, of course, these applications will catch more cases. You will do better at catching plagiarism. There's not much doubt. It's a very powerful tool. There is a reason it costs as much as it does. It is a very, very powerful weapon. But the majority of cases typically still are at least led by human intuition, in my experience. And that's in pretty much all cases. No matter what tools are being used and brought to bear later on. Human intuition is your best friend, and there are, of course, very good, very simple ways you can search for plagiarism in a suspected essay using Google and other tools that are completely free. So if you want to play boo gotcha with plagiarists, then you're probably wasting your time and your money using the services. But, and this is the major but, the good systems out there have ways of integrating plagiarism detection into the writing and the education process. And this is extremely valuable in my experience. Schools that take the time to actually put this and involve these tools in the education process and helping students become better writers and helping students avoid plagiarism and teaching about plagiarism, these tools can be invaluable. And it's a very, very potent weapon in that particular part of education. And in that regard, it can actually do the work of many different educators and many different teachers and administrators and so forth by itself. And it can be a huge asset that can greatly streamline the education process on this, because it's a very, like I said, a very powerful tool for determining what's copied, where it came from. And that can be useful not just for catching plagiarists, but for actually teaching about plagiarism and teaching about writing in general. So if you use these tools correctly, yes, they are absolutely worth every single penny. I have no questions about that. I absolutely love them. The same holds true for the corporate angle, Authenticate, and so forth as well. But if you use them incorrectly and are just trying to use them to ensnare plagiarists and, throw people out of school, you're probably wasting your money. Yeah, you're going to catch more plagiarists, but a lot of the cases you're going to catch, if not most, you probably would have caught just as easily without the tools. No, this is an educational tool. Focus on making it an educational tool. You will get your money's worth, I guarantee you. So yeah, basically, is the tool worth it? It depends on how you use it. It's the old adage here is You know, is a hammer worth what a hammer's cost? Well, if you use it correctly, it probably is. But if you try to use it as a screwdriver, you're gonna look like a moron. Well, basically, it's all in what you do with it. So on that note, thank you very much for your time. This is Jonathan Bailey, signing off.